My name is Lady Whistledown. You may not know me, but I know you. Yes, Tate's Take. What a catchy title, and might I add, what a lovely Christmas tree. Tell me, Your Grace, do your subscribers know you aren't wearing any pants?
Yeah. Alright, welcome to Tate's Take. If you're new here, I give spoiler-free movie and TV reviews. Give you a little background, basically to know if I think it's worth checking out or not. If that's something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular Tate's Takers, how good is this show? Well, we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. Get it? I said bridge, and the show's called Bridgerton. Never mind. Bridgerton is a new Netflix series that's based on the popular book series by Julia Quinn. The series is a collection of 8 books, starting with The Duke and I, that was released 20 years ago. These books have been translated in over 30 languages and have earned over $10 million in the United States alone. Some people call Quinn the modern-day Jane Austen. She was even inducted into the Romance Writers Hall of Fame in 2010. Is there a Hall of Fame for everything? Netflix announced back in 2018 that they'd be making this show and that it'd be part of Shonda Rhimes' multi-project deal with them. Shonda Rhimes, who you all know, became a household name when she was dubbed the first African-American female producer of a top 10 network TV show. Definitely helped earn her the $150 million Netflix deal she got. She's actually been credited with saving ABC with those hit shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and here's where y'all cancel me, because I've never seen any of them. Oh, if you're still here, you loyal. Anyway, Shonda produced Bridgerton with Chris Van Dusen as a showrunner. The two of them worked together on Grey's. Can you call it Grey's if you never watched it? Anyway, they also worked together on Scandal. The story goes, she literally handed him this book by Julia Quinn and said, turn this into a TV show. And then he did. All right, plot time. Bridgerton is the name of a very respected and high-ranking family in early 1800s England. Lady Violet Bridgerton is the widowed mother of 8 children who all at some point have to go off and get married and start their own families. Daphne Bridgerton is the main Bridgerton that the show follows. She's about to start her debutante journey and is desperately trying to find a love match. Back in those days, it wasn't so common to marry for love. It was more so like a partnership between families. Back then, your reputation was everything, and the men used it to figure out if you were a worthy wife. Early on in the show, the queen calls Daphne exceptional, so now she's feeling herself crazy, because that's the cosign of all cosigns. But it doesn't last long, because shortly after, the queen reneges, and she says, I may have spoke too soon. So now all that clout that Daphne done built up is gone. To make matters worse, there's a very popular gossip newsletter that everyone in the town reads to get all the tea. It's pretty much TMZ in the 1800s. These are the famous Lady Whistledown newsletters. So now everyone is reading that Daphne got dissed by the queen and how she lost all her clout. And then that really just means that she's just attracting only the lamest of the lamest dudes, even with her strong family name. At the same time all this is happening, the Duke of Hastings comes into town to handle some business matters. And not only is he a duke, which is one of the highest ranks, but he also looks like this.
Oh, pardon me.
Forgive me.
Yeah, I know. Life's not fair. Like, his eyebrow alone is gonna get a second season of this show. Anyway, when he pulls up, all the women that are out in season looking for their husband make him their #1 target. All the while, he has no intention of ever getting married. So he's just like, look, I just came to sign some paperwork. Can y'all just chill? So anyway, Daphne and this Duke cross paths because the Duke is good friends with Daphne's older brother. And now Daphne has a genius idea. She tells the Duke, hey, why don't you pretend to court me? If you do that, and all these men in town see that I'm being courted by some fancy Duke from out of town, then they're gonna be super jealous and start fighting for my love. And then, if the women see you courting this Bridgerton girl, then maybe they'll leave you alone. Huh? What could go wrong? Basically, there's like a million things that can go wrong with these types of movies that we've seen before, but still. Now we got a series. So what's my take? You know, this may come as a shock to you, but I've never read a romance novel. I know. But after this, no, I actually still won't read them, but this show's fire. I never thought I'd get caught up into some 19th century British love affairs, but here we are. Now, I won't be able to tell you how this compares to the book for all you diehards out there. What's up, Amanda? But I can tell you that I hope you enjoy it as much as I think you will. I know there's always going to be the book was better coalition, but damn. This is a good show. Let's get into some of the things that I liked about it. First, the acting and writing is elite. I don't know if it's because I'm fresh off Tiny Pretty Things, but I think I forgot what good writing sounds like. Just quick, witty dialogue carries the show, and I'm pretty sure that that's part of what made the book so successful. The whole series is narrated by Lady Whistledown herself, which was voiced by the world-famous Julie Andrews. That's the OG Mary Poppins and the lady from The Sound of Music and the Princess Bride. It's a nice groove to hear this story told from this gossipy angle. In a world where all these rich families are putting on a front for each other, pretending they live these perfect lives, here comes Lady Whistledown to give us that real. It's impressive. I wasn't familiar with most of the actors on this show, but they all did great. And with 8 episodes of almost an hour each, it gives time for character development that's beyond just Daphne and the Duke. Besides the acting and the writing, the costumes are legit. A lot of the times in these period pieces, they get nominated for like best costume, and I get it. It's probably not easy to find all this fancy garb and put it together and make it look real. But this is the first time I ever watched something like this, and I was like, damn, show looks kind of good. Like where can I cop that? I need Zara to, is it time to bring it back? Like, you know, fashion goes in circles. Like, when do we get the 1800s back? I've been wearing these work from home sweats so long, I forgot what it's like to be put together. Like, these dudes are wearing full suits at breakfast. And like, the 1800s were different. I hope they win something, and I hope the Duke lets me hold something. That's a badass quote. Even the music in the show is dope, because at first listen, you think you're hearing some regular old classical orchestra, and then you think to yourself, wait a minute, it sounds kind of familiar. Then you're like, wait a minute, what the hell? That's Taylor Swift. It's just a very interesting way to modernize the content. And speaking of modernizing the content, don't think I didn't catch the writers describing one of the scandals in the show as an entanglement. Okay, Shonda, relax. Relax. Maybe I do need to get on the Shonda Rhimes wave. Been missing out. But y'all didn't tell me. Y'all got me watching Tiny Pretty Things when I could be catching up on Shonda time. And speaking of Tiny Pretty Things, one of the reasons why I said that show was so bad was because of those random ass sex scenes. So how did Bridgerton take on the task of handling the real reason you guys are reading these novels? Just kidding. I know. It's the dialogue. Let's get serious. Anyway, this show has a good amount of juicy moments. Even from the first episode, you get some action. They even got orgies in this thing, but it's not all random and sloppy. They actually brought in intimacy coaches to make sure each sex scene was executed perfectly. Y'all hiring? I'm just kidding. But yeah, the budget is just so well spent to make sure they cover all their bases. Anyway, it's just money well spent. Finally, I got to spend some time to recognize the conscious choice to diversify the series. And I'm not talking about just diversity of race, but also diversity of perspective. The series was written from a female perspective, which is kind of rare for a production like this. In a time period where women were very close to being just property, here we get to see their perspective and understand what they felt about this whole process. And not just from Daphne's perspective, who actually does want a husband, even though she has issues with it. Like, for example, her sister Eloise does not want to marry, and she doesn't understand why she can't just go to university, get a job, and support herself. These are great questions. Beyond that, the best thing about this show is the racial diversity in the cast. But I want to be clear, this is not colorblind casting. What is colorblind casting, you ask? Well, it's pretty much how it sounds. It's when you cast people without considering what their race is. It's like, for example, that's like what Hamilton is. Like, George Washington is not this tall black dude. And it's like, also, anytime a white person plays a role like freaking Elizabeth Taylor in Cleopatra. But okay, it's 1960s, whatever. But now it's 2020. So when the trailer for Bridgerton came out and people saw how diverse this cast is for a project that takes place in the early 1800s, they must have been thrilled. Nah, not everybody. Even though there was an outpouring of support for the trailer, especially with Shonda Rhimes' name on it, there was still a good amount of people who were less than thrilled with the diverse cast. Funny enough, the news of this cast was announced in 2018, literally 1 week after the news of the live-action Little Mermaid. Yes, you all may remember the outrage from the Little Mermaid fan community when they found out that Ariel was going to be played by a black actress. I'm still not sure if anyone has told them that not only is she black, but she's not even a real mermaid. Anyway, so here in Bridgerton, a similar crew of not that smart people are kicking and screaming, saying this isn't historically accurate. One person was even quoted as saying, "Our history is not their history. Please stop blackwashing everything." Word. Okay, first of all, are we now suddenly saying that we're reading romance novels for historical accuracy? Okay, and can you help me find similar outrage that these books don't talk about how rich people were taking baths like twice a month, and if you weren't rich, like twice a year? Oh, they're not mad about that? Okay, cool. Maybe you can find the people that are mad that these handsome, young, rich dukes were probably old and ugly and just creepy. Oh, then I'm not about that either. Okay. So then maybe they're mad that these books don't explain that children were getting abused and young girls were getting crept on by old men. Oh, they're not mad about that. Okay. Of course they're not mad. It's because those things don't need to be in a romance novel. It's not romantic. So someone needs to explain to me why we can look past all of that, but as soon as some black people show up, we need professors of history to weigh in. You know what's really crazy though? It's not even as historically inaccurate as you may think. Yeah, that's right, Jane Austen fan XOXO, I said it. In the show, it's explained that the races began to unite after a king fell in love with a black woman. From then, the new queen used her power and influence to lift people of color up through the ranks. You know, like instead of just raping slaves and denying it. Yes, yes, Thomas Jefferson, that's you. Anyway, it's a great view of what could have been, but it doesn't come out of thin air, because some scholars actually believe that Queen Charlotte, who married King George III, was black. What? Beyond that, even if she wasn't black, it wasn't uncommon to see black people in London during this time. And if all these points still don't cool your freaking jets, even the original author, Julia Quinn, said, Bridgerton is not a history lesson. It's a show for a modern audience. So just relax. I think it's great that they try to imagine history and the world in the way that many people wanted to see it. When the Obama biopic comes out and they cast freaking Tekashi 6ix9ine to play Barack, then you guys can get mad about historical inaccuracies. I personally think it's important that viewers get to see people that look like themselves in every class level of society. I'm gonna give Bridgerton 5 stars. For what this is, I think it's the best in its class. Not everyone's gonna wanna watch romance novels depicted on screen, and they know that, so they won't click it. But if you do enjoy them, I can't see you not liking this. Even if you're just like me and you haven't gotten into the genre, but you just like a well-done show, you'll appreciate this. It's well acted, the story's interesting, even things that you see and you're just like, I know where this is going. They don't always take down a generic path, which is always appreciated. Honestly, if for nothing else, watch it for the queen. She's like a whole mood. Bridgerton is available exclusively on Netflix starting on Christmas Day. And a huge shout out to the folks at Netflix for letting me check this out early. As always, thanks for checking out Tate's Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe. In the comments, let me know what y'all think about the show. Especially if y'all read the book. I need to know if it's as good, because it looked good. I mean, I think it's good. I gave it 5 stars. Thanks for the time, y'all. Peace.